Private company feeding us GMO foods, they wanting us trapped. My young boy just came home for a booting, that young nigga tapped. Can't be slipping when I'm puffing on a potent, silent but I stay strapped. Gave her wood, now she talking about family tree, you know it ain't that. Ain't got time for the bad bees, dog, I got money on mine. Watch my chain too long, had me nervous, I put money on your mind. The Cali be potent, that girl is a bogus, I can't risk my seed.
Okay, boom people, what's up? It's your boy Airsoft Special Ops. A lot of people have been asking me to do this. Quite a few people have asked me why I haven't done this already. So I'm gonna try and get it done quickly and efficient for you. The first thing is first, always protection, eye protection is needed and key. So today's video is 101 for HPA. So we're gonna start off with the main thing. You always want to get a tank. I always do recommend a good quality one. I use Vulcan quite a lot. Like I work at a site where we have to use Vulcan masks, Vulcan wires for some of the HPA kits, and things like Vulcan gloves and all these other things. So Vulcan's just a trusted company. These they're quite a big capacity. This one's 0.8 litre to 207 bar. You'll notice as well, my tank isn't actually empty, so I'm going to show you a bit of that. I'm basically going to show you how to fill it as well. This one is the 3000 PSI one, so I believe that's the max you can fill it to. And it's the 48 CL model, because they are thinner and smaller models. This one is quite weighty, so I would advise that if you do grab something like this, chuck it in a backpack. I did have it on like a side belt thing, but I found that that was a bit stressful. Even though it was like reinforced, at times you'd be running and it's just literally doing that in the pouch, whereas in the backpack it wasn't too bad at all. It kind of just sat there snug. At times you kind of forgot it was there. The biggest problem I had with the backpack though is running a wire through that was comfortable and worked for me, if that made sense. So yeah, maybe you guys give it a go and see how you get on. Maybe you'll get on better than I did. Another key thing to keep in mind, and I should just do this quick, is all of them have a manufacture date. So I'm not sure if you can see, my one says 2022. It has a 5-year expiry, so always do check your dates and do keep checking it, just to make sure that you're not bringing out something that is actually unsafe. There isn't much to show, to be honest. Obviously you have your valve on the side, this one right there on the side. That's normally what you use to fill your gas. So you put your nozzle on, you pull it back, put it on, flick it down, let it fill. When it stops filling, flick it back up so that it relieves pressure, and then you'd obviously pull the nozzle back off that and you're all good to go. Then you have this little thing on the side that you can literally just chuck over. It's basically a cover for it. Things like this I wouldn't too tough worry about, leave them as standard. And then obviously you have your meter that shows you what's in there and how much is in there and whatnot. So that's the first thing. You're gonna want a tank. You're also gonna want a regulator, which is basically a nozzle head that goes on top of your tank, which is basically what regulates how much pressure is actually coming out the tank at any given time. You will need this, especially if you're trying to play at skirmishes, or if you're trying to play anywhere, to be honest, because all sites have limits, which means that if you go with a red hot tank that's shooting crazy numbers, they're likely not to let you use it. Whereas there's this little thing at the top that you can twist and take off, and then I've got my little key, has 2 pins. You can kind of like twist it to make it more pressure each time, or twist it the opposite way for less pressure. And it does have like a plus sign and a minus sign, so it is easy to kind of understand. I've kind of left mine on because it's got a cap. I've kind of used a thing to tie it. I've done that just because a couple of days ago we were playing at a site. I set it at a safe limit. I got to go ahead and we set it like that so that I don't have to reset my regulator. All I've got to do is chuck this regulator on any tank, to be honest, and it should be within the limits of the fields that I play. So that's why I've done that. what else you're gonna need. And to be honest, budget wise, your tank, you could probably spend anywhere from 30 back to 150 pounds on a tank, depending on what you buy, what grade level, and all these other things. Regulator, probably something similar. You could they're not as expensive. You could probably spend anywhere from, for a decent regulator, maybe about 30 quid back to about 70, 80 quid. I think the most expensive one I've seen is like 120, 130, and that's just for extremist pros. And no, I've said extremist pros. The next thing you're gonna need is a wire or a cord or a hose or whatever you guys want to call it. It is basically just a thing that connects from your tank into whatever chosen system. For me, my chosen system is a Glock mag because I use Glock, so I've converted one of my Glock mags, if you can see, right on the bottom, and all you literally have to do with one end of the nozzle is, and another thing is knowing your connections, because obviously depending on what kit you use, what tank, what actual gun or magazine you're using, these things may change. But I've basically got a US set up on both sides. One's a male, one's a female. When I say male, obviously one is like that, and then the other one is like that. For example, pull down and then it goes on. So yeah, so very simple. I'm gonna show you how to set that stuff up. And again, something like your hose would probably cost you anywhere from, I've seen some rubbish hoses for about 20 quid, and then I've seen some real good hoses. This is like a mid-range hose. I wouldn't call this a top tier hose. I'd call it a mid-range hose, just because it is a decent quality build, and my fittings and adapters are actually a decent quality build as well. Something like that, anywhere from about probably about 30 quid, 35 quid, back to about 50, 55 quid. I wouldn't go over that for hose, just because they come in all shapes and sizes. Like there's extendable ones and all these things, but again, it just depends on what your pockets mind spending. But so yeah, we're gonna give you a quick setup. So that's that. We always start with, well, I should say I always start with my tank. So I grab my tank, obviously check if there's any pressure, because depending on if there's pressure or not pressure in there, I obviously handle it slightly different. An empty tank I'm a bit more playful with. A tank like this where it has stuff in, I'm very careful about if I drop it on hard surfaces or if this nozzle is exposed, because that is also another release chamber. So all I've done is I've taken off this black cap thing, which is just, all it is basically a nozzle that protects that top, because obviously if that was to fall and hit the floor and no nozzle was on it and press that release button, that would go pinging across the room and potentially hurt somebody. Do you get what I'm saying? So you just remove that. Always keep that safe, because you're going to need that. So I put that to one side. I normally then grab my regulator. You want to pop that on. I spin, spin, spin. And it's basically just a turn system, so you find which way is your tight end way, and you spin, spin, spin. What I tend to do is I keep an eye on both, because obviously there's a meter for my tank and there's a meter for my regulator. So as I'm turning it, I keep an eye on it, and I listen also, because what you'll normally hear is, I'm not sure if you just heard that, it was very brief, and what you'll notice if you check your meter is, now my regulator meter has moved up, whereas before, I'll just release it quickly and show you.
Up in my squad, he was shocked when I caught him. Got a pass on a touch, still got trauma from back then. Solo chilling, I be rolling a spliffy, giving thanks to the Father for blessings you give me. I ain't perfect, still growing daily. I dropped so many singles this year, my haters had to play me.
This remains the same, because obviously that's where my meter would be set. That's the limit I've set my meter to operate at, if that makes sense. Grow me out of the ground and plant another seed. You reap what you sow. I'm trying to make a tapestry, a work of art so grand it proves God exists. What will happen is it will drop when it's completely. Let me show you quickly, just so it makes sense. So for example, if you notice when it's off, it's literally at 0, and it's because no pressure is being applied through it. But when I turn it around, and like I said, I always listen, because there's normally like a quick noise.
living in the future, wasting more seconds, wasting more time, so I didn't even
Yep,
clock.
it
I
literally
was
just
staring at
happened.
the clock, waiting
What
up
will
for
happen
God's
is,
blessings. Never made a
now you'll
move,
see
not even
it's showing
half
what
stepping.
pressure
Thought I was
level.
a G till them boy they pulled
That's
a
when I
weapon, then the
normally
next
set
day
it.
of
So
school.
don't try
Yeah,
and
I
set
got a
it
tool,
before you
thrown in
actually attach
detention
that
for
nozzle,
acting like a
because
fool. I
nothing
thank
will
God
show.
they never searched my
And
bag.
you'll find that you have to
God really
reset
had
it
my
again.
back,
Oh,
so
I've
I'm
hurt
cool.
my
I
hand.
was a poet and I didn't
But
know
yeah,
it, now I'm just
so what I then normally
shining
do
like
is,
a
it's
diamond,
tight, I
dropping
can see the
gems in
pressure's
the
on,
booth.
but
The level's always
these
high, I
two
think I need
nozzles, or
another
these two
roof.
meters
Another
don't line
glass
up.
seal,
If
I'm
you notice,
feeling to
one's
go
on the
through.
side,
Just breaking every
one's on the
boundary
side,
around
one's on
me,
the
it just
front.
astounds
Do you get what I'm
me.
saying? So I
Clearly
tend
just the
to,
power of
obviously you
God
don't want to
that
add too much
surrounds me.
pressure, but I
Say
tend
what
to
you
turn,
like, go
because
ahead
they
and
do
down.
have quite a bit of turn leverage once they're tight. So I do turn, it can be firm, like you're seeing right here, but it will normally go round, which makes it easier, because if it's in my bag or backpack, it's very easy to check both of them at the same time, whereas if they're at different places, you're normally having to check this one and check that one and check just to work out what's happened, because sometimes you can have loss of pressure or stuff like that. So I do normally give it that second turn, just to make sure that I know that my top nozzle is locked on properly, basically. Yeah, so that's that. So that's the first thing, your tank. Then I tend to connect my nozzle slash holes, as people call it.
Cold nights in them flats.
So what I normally want to do is put my mail
running rounds, running laps,
and pull this right here back.
Boys without a plan, from
So
band of
you
boys
can
without
see.
a plan. Wait,
Pull that
you do
back.
not know me, brother. So how can I owe you,
And then
brother?
I normally push
Wait,
that forward
don't
as
phone
I'm
my phone
pushing
and start.
this hose
So
in.
sin,
So I'll do that one more
dripping,
time.
don't
So if I
get
release
caught
that,
slipping. Ram
I pull that
me,
back,
kitchen.
pull that
Bro,
back
bro,
ever
got
so
a
slightly.
sting.
This
Yeah.
goes in. Make sure I can't hear any noise, so I'm actually pushing force onto that nozzle, and then I literally just pull that head back forwards, or else that will go flying back out. I normally give it a little slight pull, not too hard, just to make sure that's in firm enough, and then you should be alright. So that's one side of my setup. I take the other side, which is my female, and then whatever mag system you're using. Like I said, I'm using a Glock mag system that I've converted. It's a 48 rounder, and I normally chuck that on. Now I normally check for leakages. I normally pull that as well, just to make sure, just so you can see how I've done that. Same thing, pull that down, put that nozzle in, and then all I'm doing is pushing that back up. Yeah? Both secure, give that a little slight tug, just to make sure not too hard, or else you'll have damage. And that is a complete setup. We now have a setup. What I'm gonna do is just give this mag a quick load for you guys, and I'm gonna cycle. I'm probably gonna cycle half and half the mag, because it is 48 rounds. 3-2 of my bad boys.
I ain't perfect, still growing daily.
Please like, share, subscribe. We're trying to build the channel at the moment, because I'd love to do a lot more review videos. I'd love to do a lot more game videos as well for you guys. And thank you for just supporting, because I've had a lot of people saying, we love what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing. A lot of feedback, good and bad. And all these things they're important. I appreciate these things. These are the things that allow us as creators to grow, and even just understand what we're doing right, as well as what we're doing wrong. So I just want to tell you guys, take a second and say thank you for all your support, because all of this stuff is all good filming videos and putting them out, but if you guys don't come and watch them and support, obviously it kind of defeats its purpose, if that makes sense. So we appreciate you guys. I just want to remind you. So I've got my tank, boom, and I've got that. You obviously want to make sure this isn't looped up too bad, so I normally just figure it out, chuck my tank out the way. I would normally have my tank in a pouch, but to be honest, my pouch and all that stuff is away. So we're gonna start with my main bad boy. I love this gun. I've done a few upgrades to it recently. I'm sure you guys have seen in another video. I won't do too much showing. I won't talk too much, but there's a few upgrades in there, so I get such a pristine shot when I shoot this thing, even though it's a cheap Vosk pistol, the EU18. And then I've also got the bad boy WE G17, which, to be honest, it has been doing very, very well recently. Like, I've had a lot of complaints about it when I first got it. I was just like, oh, it's so heavy. Does the weight justify the quality of the overall pistol? Like, I've just had a lot of back and forth with this gun, but to be real, I quite like it. I won't lie. I do have my concerns about it, similar to the EU18, where it's like I had to do my upgrades just to get this where I wanted it to be. I do have my dislikes with this also, where it's so heavy and certain things like that, but I feel like it's just so realistic. It got the right markings on the side and has this cool little Chinese marking on the other side, and it's just a nice overall pistol, so I can't knock it. So we're gonna test these two bad boys quickly. I'm gonna cycle half and half, because you can see I have a full mag now. So yeah, let's get into it. So we're gonna start with a bad boy. You know what, let's actually start with that one. That's my favourite, that one.
She treated me good, she want me to stumble, but what happens if our relationship crumbles?
Okay, let's get into it. And I'll show you the targets afterwards as well. I just kind of wanted to, even though it's late, my neighbours might be upset, I just wanted to get, because I do a lot of reviews and show you guys the cool things about them and that, but it's like, you don't really always get a chance to see these things in operation, so I did kind of want to show you guys these things. So yeah, don't flip on me laser, we'll get to action. I'll show you targets afterwards. Whoa, that's lit. A whole target. That's quite interesting. I wonder if it will show you on the camera. If you have a look here at that target, it's split it right at that top corner. Don't know if you guys can see. Right at that top corner over there, it split the target. That's very crazy. It's almost like the BB went in across or something. That's actually interesting. Let's keep going.
Cha-cha, yeah, yeah, ooh. Cha-cha, yeah, yeah, ooh.
Accuracy is very good on this gun, you know. I need to leave the barrel the way it is, because I'm just hitting the 100 mark, the 100 mark, the 100 mark. I'll show you guys in a sec.
Let's go.
Quite pleased with this.
Look, Cole said that everybody dies. It reminded me that everybody cries watching what I feed my brain. It can lead to demise. Trauma gave me vision that's not for your eyes. Conversations with my OG said the hurt always hurt you. Bad B with no father, that's maybe why she flirt too. Claims she loved my essence, it's the loud, that's my perfume. My problems like a job, always up for the curfew. Ride with me through a case, then the one to judge me. Really broke it down, you just mad. You couldn't
I'm quite pleased with it. It's not doing bad. I have my complaints about it, but overall it's a good gun. I think I might do the same upgrade that I did to the EU18. Yeah, I greased up the gun earlier. I wanted her to be nice and lubricated for action. I feel like that's one thing where this gun is a lot more hardcore heavy metal compared to, for example, my Voss. It's like you have to care this one with oil. I don't know if you guys can see off the shimmer line. You have to care this one a lot better, or a lot more with oil than, or cure, should I say, this one a lot more with oil than my Voss. If you know, it's just the standard in there, no upgrade. But for the standard, it's done well. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'll show you guys at the end of this video each target, just so that you guys can see, like, they're holding their own, and I'm about a meter away from that target, so very accurate. Even though it's on standard, very accurate. And I hope you guys got to see the kick. Like, the kick, HPA is, do you know what it is? I love HPA, it's a wavy thing. I feel like I'm gonna probably end up getting rid of my HPA tank just because I don't like the bulkiness. What I may over time do is come back to HPA with like a really small tank, but I feel like I'd have to sort out my primary first. If you notice, I have made my choices about my secondaries, and if you notice, I've been consistent on these bad boys for quite some time now. Like, I haven't changed it. I've come across other guns, I've bought other things, tested other things, but I've kind of stuck with me two main Glocks, if you noticed. Whereas I just feel like I should sort out my primary if I'm gonna spend more time, how do you call it, like more time investing in HPA, if that makes sense, because I already worked it out now. Like you're always gonna be stuck under the limit. You're always gonna have to tie your cap similar to what I've did in it with the one I showed you with my green Illuminous tick on there. So it's almost like, yeah, it's something great and you can enjoy it, but you can't really get lost in the source, if I'm to be honest, which ain't a bad thing. It's just life, innit? But it's why I'm saying from here onwards I'd probably focus more on my primary,
no cap.
just because I feel like my secondaries, they're sorted. The most I want to do to this bad boy is do the same upgrade I've done to the boss. Maybe buy some backup springs and stuff just in case I have faults. I'm pleased with them both. If anything, I probably want to put some zombie sights on this bad boy because you know it has the normal sights on it, which does the job. But for example, this bad boy, like, I don't know if you can see this bad boy. Them zombie sights do this. They actually do this. So yeah. So what we're gonna do is run the other half, because it is late. I don't want to piss off my ladies. So, just run the other half with this bad boy. My fun, my favourite, my babes.
Guys that hate me, the girls got me on replay. Now my numbers
what I'll do is
climbing,
I'll probably
I keep
shoot
it steady,
two
grinding, claim they got my back. I
so
drop my music support, never
you
found
can actually see
God
the
the greatest,
difference
my
in
kids
between
return back
bullet
home. I
scatters,
nearly
so they
lost
are
my
two
mind,
different
but that
buttons.
ish
So
gave me backbone.
we'll shoot
Through
this
the
one
absence,
instead.
I learnt about Job, patience and
The only
peace,
thing
and
is
many
that, let me shoot
falling
it up this way,
grief.
because then you can see the
Perspective
tick
has
on it.
changed, many things rearranged. Got my old friends thinking that our OG done changed.
Whoops,
Don't let
there
me
we
wild
are.
out,
Get
my
the
demons
target.
were close.
Head
Take
on.
account for your actions, you
Head
reap
on
what you
again,
sow.
and it bounce back.
So what you reap, take account for your actions.
Head on again.
Thankful you
All three in a
listening,
row.
9
I
years
love
soon.
that.
Platinum had a up in my squad.
Let
He
me
was
actually,
shocked
so
when
you
I
guys
called
have seen
him.
it
Got
beat a
pass
couple
on a
times,
touch,
so
still
we
got
can get
trauma
it
from
a
back
couple
then.
times.
Solo chilling, I'll be rolling a spliffy. Giving
that
thanks
was
to the
it.
Father
There
for
we go.
blessings you give me. I ain't perfect, still growing daily. I dropped so many singles this year, my haters
So you've
had
been
to
able
blame
to
me.
see that one beat. I'm gonna try and do
What
some
comes to me
target
when I
shooting.
sit without company, minding my business, dreaming about monopoly. Was dirt poor so long I need the money tree to grow me out of
Keep
the
in mind I
ground
am
and plant
100,
another
though.
seed. You reap what you sow, I'm trying to make a tapestry.
100
A work of
finally.
art so grand it proves God exists. More often than not, it seems like the opposite. The devil creeping,
50
always
again.
seeping through my consciousness. I think a lot about the ways that I respond to shit.
100.
When I was young, I was possessed
And
as
I
kind of
knocked the target
monstrous.
out.
Got high off fighting, then I took another hit. Adrenaline was
How much
medicine
more do I
before I
have?
ever
I've
learned
got
to
3
spit.
more. I might as
Now
well
I
empty
address
it.
these things with such elegance. It was a gift from God,
Got the
treated
100.
with reverence.
Got the
So much
100.
time can pass if you're not present.
100.
Living in the future,
100.
wasting more seconds, wasting more time. So I didn't even clock.
Got
I
the
was
100,
staring at
I
the
said,
clock,
100.
waiting up for God's blessings.
all out, I
Never made a
believe, yeah.
move, not even half stepping.
So that's
Thought I was a
HPA
G till the
101
boy that
for you.
pulled a weapon. Then the next day at school, yeah, I got a tool.
I hope you guys enjoyed it, to be honest, because it's been a sec I've been meaning to do this bad boy. HPA is a cool thing to have. It does the job, it makes life fun, and obviously it does release, you can release your gas.
The level's always
If you
high, I
just
think I
press,
need another roof, another glass
always.
ceiling, I'm feeling to go
But
through. Just breaking every
yeah, like
boundary
HPA,
around,
it's
just
a banging
sound.
thing.
Clearly just
I think it's
a
lovely. I think it's like anything. It's like AEG, for example. You have to like the thing to enjoy the thing. So I think just like anyone who does play airsoft or skirmishes indoors, outdoors, CQB and all these things, it's like just test things. If your boy has one, say to him, can I use it for one game? See if you like it. If you like it, go for it. I think with me, I'm split decision on this just because I feel like on one hand it's a really cool thing to have, but I just feel like it comes with so much annoyance. Like for example, the limits. Like I will set my tank a couple days before the game. I'll end up going to the game and have to set the tank again because they're so moany about the BB weights and how I've set my tank, and it's like, oh really? Whereas with green gas, I just literally go on. I don't have to even chrono the gun, for example. The biggest problem I have is chrono in my AEG, which is a bit more easier because the biggest thing I can do is the spring, right? Make sure the spring and my BB weight is on point, which I normally do a couple days before anyway. But yeah, like I'm not gonna knock it, man. HPA is fucking cool, especially for pistol users. You'll notice it will turn your pistol from something that you're always like, oh, it's a primary, I can't rely on it, to something that you're like, bro, like this thing can shoot as far as my rifle almost, like, which some people it's amazing. It even gives you the ability to only go out with a pistol because it actually holds its own, especially if you run, take cover, back. Like, trust me and my boy does this thing where we go to games and, for example, like, we'd literally just run around with a pistol or two and we're just going through buildings, duck down quick, bam bam bam, and where you're so light, you only got the tank on you and this and like a chest guard, you're light, you can hop in places, you can top and do things that other people can't do, whereas they've got the long ass rifle and all of them things. So it does have its benefits. I think just like anything, it's just one of them things. Like I said, you just have to test, see if you like it. If you like it, amazing. If you don't like it, then maybe AEG is for you, or maybe even something like a gas rifle is for you, because you do have to test these things just to make sure. But yeah, man, with that being said, that was HPA 101. Like, share and subscribe until we next meet, people. I know some motherfuckers are gonna be like, oh, he was lying about where he shot and where he hit. So I'm gonna actually just physically show you guys. If you look at this target, let me spin the cam so you can see. That was the first burner. That was the WE, what the WE done. It held its own, like, even look at this one. Straight across. I think what it probably done was hit something and bounced in and came back across. That's probably what happened. But if you notice, bare hundreds, couple 50s, 30 and a 30. So that's that. And then the other one that fell down, it wasn't too bad because this one was like 2/3 meters away, and I feel like for the 1-1 shots that I was taking, it actually came out pretty decent, because if you have a look, couple hundreds in there, mostly 50s and 130, and that's from like 2.5 meters away. That first one was from about a meter away. So, and the other targets that I was talking about, you're probably like, he was shooting something else as well. Are these bad boys up top? So what I was doing is, you have to hit one, you have to hit the other one, and then when you hit this one, what should happen is all of them come back up. But I think I broke it with the gas guns. But yeah, like that. So yeah, so that's that, people, man. Until we next meet, and let's let me know what you guys want me to do next, because I'm due to do like a belt update video, but it's just whether or not people even want to see my belt, because my belt is so simple now. Like, I've literally made it so simple now, so simple. I just feel like less is more. I've come to learn in airsoft. Is why I'm partly trying to remove my tank and just get some really reliable mags, because if you have reliable mags, what else do you need, right? But with that being said, stay blessed, people, until we next meet.